Good morning, everyone. Sawatdee Ton Chow. What's happening? Here we are. What is today? Today is May 28th, Wednesday here in Bangkok, 9 a.m., as it usually is when I start. But today we're going to talk about how Thailand is tired of tourists, and tourists are growing tired of Thailand. Um, and I know that, some people, they think Thailand's great. Some people, um, well, they think Thailand's going into the toilet, and I think it's a little of both. So we're going to talk about that. Um, that's the subject for today. Thailand has been the darling of global tourism for decades, from the 70s to about 2000. I'm going to say 2015. So almost 50 years. The beach smiles, the cheap living, the sense of freedom. That's really what got me, was the sense of freedom that you probably don't get back home. Um, but that love affair has started to fall apart now. And uh, I mean, I really think some of the Thai locals, especially in the uh, tourist areas, they've started to get sick of the tourists. And tourists are complaining about being scammed, being overcharged, and disrespected. And the tension is thick, and no one really uh, wants to talk about it. Honestly, they don't want to take responsibility, and I think that's a shame. But let's lay it out here. Is it really the fault of the rude, entitled foreigners, or is it Thailand just reaping what it has sown by building an economy on mass tourism and phony smiles? We should note that just because the Thai is smiling at you doesn't necessarily mean they're friendly or they're happy with you or anything like that. I mean, sometimes, yeah, of course, a lot of the time they smile just because they're smiling. But sometimes that's not what it is. A smile is not always a smile. Um, so today we're going to talk about this, and I promise I'll try not to hold back at all. I'll try to, get into it as much as I can. In case you don't know who I am, I'm Scott. I'm an American who's been living in Thailand for the past 30 years. It's almost 31 now. Um, but if you like this live stream, please click the like button. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell, click all, and that should help you stay informed of the upcoming videos and also the streams. It doesn't always. YouTube, for some reason, YouTube doesn't always get it right. I don't know why. But also, if you want to leave me a comment, send me a message. What was it the guy was asking about? Anything you want to just leave me a comment, send me a comment, make a note about something. You want to ask me something, you want to, Dear Scott, send me a Dear Scott letter, or maybe you just want a consultation. You need to know about something. You want to get into it a little bit. Well, you can call me. You can email me at americaninbangkok@gmail.com, and then we can set up a call and we'll get into it that way. Um, anyway, today the exchange rate 32.71. Anything under 33 to me is poor, but I'll take it. If it was to go under 32, then I would be like, all right, that's getting pretty bad. If it went to 30 to 31, I would be like, this is really bad. This is about as bad as I hope it will ever get. Um, the air quality right now 75, which is moderate. The temperature is 29 degrees Celsius, 84 Fahrenheit. The high is 33 Celsius or 91 Fahrenheit. The low is 26 and 79 Fahrenheit. Um, the feel like temperature is 30 Celsius, 87 Fahrenheit. And the humidity is 81%. Uh, so there you go there. Now, there is a high chance of rain this week, a lot of rain this week. The uh, percentages are like 80 to 90% that it's going to rain. And then as it gets towards the weekend, the percentages drop a little bit. It'll be slightly lower next week, maybe 40, 50%. But still, it's the rainy season. So what do you expect? I mean, it's going to rain, and I don't mind it. I just I prefer not to come out when it's raining and just chill out. I don't usually have anything I have to do. Although I was thinking about going to the river. Maybe I'll go on Friday. But today they got a 2-for-1 deal. I was like, I'm not going to pass it up. But hopefully it won't rain. No rain is a good thing. So now, Thailand has always presented itself as an open, welcoming country. And when I first got here, that's how it was. It was very easy to come here, nonchalant, everything was laid back. But over time, that openness has come with serious trade-offs. Good evening, good evening. Good morning, good morning. When a country invites the entire world to its doorstep, it has to deal with the people and the things that walk through the door, and not all of it is good. And I've said this for a long time. Right now, everybody goes, oh, yeah, Cambodia, yeah, Vietnam, oh, it's so easy. Wait another 5 to 10 years. When they start getting enough people, it's not going to be quite as easy. That's how it works. When you can't get people to come to your country, you entice them. Then they come. Then when you have too many people, you cut back. You know. So now tourists, they bring the cash, but sometimes some of them bring the chaos. They bring opportunity. Sometimes they bring abuse. And now, really, I think after COVID, this is when it's really started. The cracks are starting to show, and you know, there's problems that are starting to be a little bit more. Um, yeah, chlamydia. Yeah, that's what it is. Uh-huh. That'll always stop everybody in their tracks. Let me see here. Uh, I have to check this out here on my paper. Uh, Now, I don't think it's any one side's fault, to be completely honest. Sometimes tourists arrive here and they have really unrealistic expectations, and they expect Thailand to cater to their every whim while turning a blind eye to their own customs and rules. And I always go back to this, and maybe now this guy would have a different opinion. I don't really know. But I go back to the guy, and it happens all the time. It's not just this one guy. You know, he says, oh, they're going to kick me out of Thailand. Well, why are they going to do that? They said I need a proper visa. Well, what's a proper visa? What are you on now? Oh, I'm on a tourist visa. Oh, so because you're on a tourist visa for a year or 2 years, they want you to change to a proper visa that allows you to stay for a year instead of a tourist visa, which really they did allow that in the beginning long ago, but they have started to disallow that. The thing is a tourist visa, when you say tourist, a tourist does not mean long term. It means short term. So that right there gives them their out. You want to come here and stay long term, you need to have a long term visa, like a retirement visa. Now, he didn't want a retirement visa for whatever reason. I don't know what it was. I don't know if he didn't have the money, didn't want to bother, didn't want to put money in a Thai bank. I don't know what it was, but he didn't do it. He goes, oh, they're kicking me out. I have to get all my stuff and move it. I'm going to go to Cambodia. And I'm like, okay, go to Cambodia. Whatever you want, dude. It's up to you. You know, but he did not end up staying. I don't know if he's ever come back. I don't know. But that's the kind of thinking that people have. Oh, well, they should let me stay. I should be able to get a visa. It's really crazy. No, what's the problem? I mean, really, when you think about it, if you're married to a Thai, you only need like $12,500, $13,000. You put that money in the bank, you're good. Just don't touch it. That's all you need. Okay. So what is so hard about that? Why is that so difficult? Now I understand a retirement visa is a little more money. Obviously, a an elite visa, whatever level it is, that's quite a bit more money. But you don't have to do it as, I mean, if you really want, you could do it. You can get an ED visa. You go out, you stay out for a week, you come back, you get another ED visa. You can do that for a little while, but you're not going to be 25 years old. And I said this for a long time. You're not going to be 25 years old and I'm going to live in Thailand for the rest of my life. Well, maybe, but only if you have money. And people don't understand that. Now, on the other hand, I got to say there's a few things here, but let me get into this. Um, some people get a rude awakening when they come, and some don't really care. And in the middle of this are the long-term expats, the small business owners, the immigration officers, the nurses, the cops, the everyday Thais who have to clean up the mess. And that's what it is. It's a mess. And now some of it has to do with the Thais. But I will say that not everybody is angry here. I'm not angry. I don't really have any problems here. Um, Although sorting out a higher level of insurance has been a little bit of a pain in the ass for me, which, I don't know why, but, they want all paperwork again. And I'm like, why do I have to do this? But whatever. I do it. Okay. It's almost done. Um, Most people love what they see here. They come here, they live here. Most people really love it, right? You got smiling locals, whatever they're smiling for. You got nice landscapes, you got great food, you got a lifestyle that to most people feels a bit liberating compared to back home. And let us not forget the lovely women, which some people that's something that draws them here. Many expats fall in love with Thailand and with the women, and they end up staying for decades or until the day they die, whatever. They respect the culture, they learn the language, they build their real life here. And those are kind of the silent majority. The only reason you know about me is because I'm on YouTube. That's it. I mean, I'm not desperate to get out of here. I mean, I think about that sometimes. And I think, really, I'd rather just be on some tiny little island where there's not many people and nobody knows me. And I just, chill out every morning, go swimming or something. And, I got to wait on my wife on that, but not really. I can go part time to do that. We've already discussed that. So, um, but, there's a lot of people, the silent majority, they are not causing problems. And they love the fact that they can live here. They have an opportunity. It's not that difficult. If you look at all the other countries in the world, Thailand is not that difficult to live here. Okay. And, that's what I'm talking about. So I would say that, these are not like TikTokers, YouTubers who run around the flaunting their ignorance. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, and there are some of those. I'm talking about people who they come here, they're married, they got kids, or they're just married, or they got a girlfriend and they're living with her, or whatever it is. They don't want any hassles. They don't want any problem. They just want to deal with things and do what they can. That's really about it. All right, let me read this here. Let me read some of these here. Everybody says Vietnam is very easy, but I dare say they don't have a retirement visa. Now, they're supposed to have a golden visa, which, Thailand has its own form of a golden visa already. The more desperate the country's people are, the more accepting they are of those who bring money. Yes, many Thais have benefited greatly, and they are not as desperate as they once were. I'm not going to Pitcairn Island, not after what happened there. I mean, I know all about Pitcairn Island. I've looked at it. I've thought about going there, but I think it would be underwhelming. Um, Yo, good morning. I finally made one. Oh, yes. Well, very good. How you doing, Firedude? Both Thailand and Vietnam have good and bad. In my opinion, I find Vietnam more natural and not as tourist centric. Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on where you've gone in Thailand. I mean, I've gone all over and went to places that are not that they have no tourists there or very few. And I've been to Vietnam and I went to Ha Long Bay and I went, oh my God, the hell did I come here for? Um, the ubiquitous of Vietnam and attracting people of lower class. I don't even know that it's people of a lower class. I don't want to get into that. Okay. But let me continue here. Now, uh, what the Thai people say is there are an increasing number of posts on social media about the behavior of Farang. There's complaints from shop owners, nurses, hotel, and even the police. And there is the growing feeling that tourists are pushing the limits of Thailand's tolerance. Um, being disrespectful in temples, loud partying in places that they don't want loud noise, which, you know what? It's not your country. It's not, it doesn't even really matter about it's not your country. It's just being respectful to other people. I wouldn't turn my radio up as high as it would go if I'm sitting in a place and there's a bunch of people around, a bunch of Thais around, a bunch of foreigners around. I just wouldn't do it. If I did, I'd put my headphones on. Now I might turn it up and you might be able to hear it, but I'm not going to turn it up to where it's blasting, and it's just, and also, of course, there are the public intoxication problems. And that's, I mean, I don't know. When you drink too much, okay, I understand you drink too much, but you don't have to be an angry drunk. Now, I don't want to generalize, but I want to be real. And certain nationalities, as I've said before, sometimes are singled out. And I'm just going to bring them up. I brought it up before. I'm going to bring it up again. So I don't mean to generalize. I just want to be real. There are the Russians who, there are reports of their entitlement, cliquish behavior, and sometimes their violence. There are the Chinese, the large tour groups that are overwhelming all the local businesses and the sacred spaces. You got 100 Chinese people walking up to a little temple, and then you got another bus coming, and there's another 100, and then there's another 100. Oh my God, I mean, and that's not necessarily their fault. Then there's the Israelis. Don't get your panties in a bunch. There's many stories of ER altercations and refusing to pay bills and to being loud and obnoxious and disrespectful. Then there's the Indians accused of traveling in large groups, bargaining too hard, or leaving messes. Then there are the Westerners, Americans, Brits, Aussies, loud, drunk, and often arrogant. I have not really run into that in a long time. And if somebody gets like that, I just walk away. I don't even want to be around them. I look at it like the Thais will take care of them. They'll sort it out. They'll sort it out. I don't want to sort it out. I don't want nothing to do with it. Just go ahead. Do what you want to do, buddy. Have a good time. Now, what tourists tend to do is they stay long-term on back-to-back tourist visas or education visas, which, okay, I guess you can push it a little bit. But, at some point, yeah, that's the thing, Richard. They really need, thank you. They really need to crack down on all the idiots. And that is part of the problem, is that what I think is the police are not harsh enough with their penalties. I'm not saying throw them away, throw away the key for 20 years, but I mean, like, sometimes they do something over and over again, and they're, okay, now you're going to pay 2,500 baht. Like, that's really going to stop somebody. And this is Thais and foreigners, okay? You got a lot of people working illegally, teaching, freelancing, doing all sorts of things. You have people abusing the public services. They go into the hospital, they don't pay the bills. You have accidents. Yeah, I don't know. You have just too many people doing things they shouldn't be doing. Disregard for the law, driving without licenses, overstaying, drugs, and disrespecting the Thai authorities. Now, this is Thailand's fault also. This goes both ways. The country wants the money, but it doesn't want the side effects. It welcomes people. Oh, please come here, have a good time. Everything is free and open. Oh, yes, come in, have a great time. But then when people act up, it's too much. Well, you're the ones who said come in and have a good time and do what you want, party on, all right, and then what happens? They do too much, and they say, no, you can't do this. Dual pricing, while it is accepted, it does create some resentment. Now, I don't really have that much because I don't generally have to go into places where they're doing that, but I have done it many times. I don't usually do it because some of the places I just don't want to go to. And some of the places, I'm fortunate. The ancient city is one. I haven't had to pay the foreigner price. I mean, I've been there like 5 times. I might have paid one time, and that was the very first time. After that, I speak in Thai when I go in. I don't speak any English, and then they go, and they just give it to me. But that doesn't necessarily happen with everybody. I'm not saying that I'm special. That they just, for whatever reason, I've been able to do it. And the enforcement is selective and inconsistent, heavy on small time offenses, blind to larger corruption. A tourism model that sells freedom but punishes freedom when it crosses social norms. That's what I'm talking about. Promotions sell Thailand as a lawless paradise, but reality bites back. So there you go. I mean, that's that's kind of what happens. They want everybody to come in. Oh, look at this, look at that. Yes, everything's great. But you do one thing wrong, and then they're going to jump all over you. So it's not as free as you think. Thailand wants tourists to act like respectful guests in a Buddhist society, but they market the country as a party destination. You can't have full moon parties and ladyboy shows marketed globally and then be shocked when tourists treat it like it's Las Vegas. That's another one of the many contradictions. And long-term expats often side with Thais. Now, I'm very careful about whether I want to side with Thais. But sometimes I just go, well, what are you doing pissing on a temple? Why are you doing that? That's just stupid. You're just an idiot. And that they need to, okay, 30 days, whatever. You need to throw them in jail. You need to give them a fine, something that's going to hurt a little bit. The same goes for the taxi drivers, because taxi drivers are a big problem in Thailand, and they're starting to have more and more problems because, first of all, the regular taxi drivers don't like that the in-driver, Bolt, Grab, that they're taking the market share. They don't like it. Well, I mean, what do you expect? Listen, I remember the last time this happened to me, I came back from Hong Kong. It was in December of 2000, I think 23. 2023. I'm not sure. 2022. I get out and I go down and I go to I'm in Suwon, and I get in a place where it's it's all the booths. You go in and you get a ticket, and then you're supposed to just turn on the meter and you go. You have a little ticket. I get on the ticket, I start going out, the guy goes 500 baht. I go, no. I go, turn on the meter. No, oh no, 500 baht. I said, no, turn on the meter or stop right now. He turned on the meter. And then I didn't say anything else to him. I didn't give him a tip. I just went, but that kind of thing happens. And that's the kind of thing that they really need to make sure that if you call somebody, that the police do something. And they don't generally do all that much. And that's a problem, because taxis have been a problem for a long time. When you are in Sukhumvit, when you're in Sukhumvit and you're down by Nana or wherever it is, you Soy 11, and you are waiting for a taxi, and the taxi stops and says, "Oh, where you want to go?" You go, "Oh, I want to go to Bangkok. Oh, I want to go to Ramkhamhaeng or wherever." Oh, no, cannot. What do you mean? It is the law. And guess what? What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything. And sometimes if you get nasty with them, some of them will bring out, the hell's it called? The wrench. I can't even think of it now. They'll bring something out so they can bash your head in if you want to make a big deal about it. Like, what do you mean you can't take me? What do you mean by that? No, it's the tire iron. Yeah, crowbar. That's it. There you go. Some of them will bash your head in. They'll try to do it. It's happened to me where they came to the guy got pissed off. I don't remember what it was about. This is a long time ago. The guy was going to bash me, and he started to get out, and I ran over and I kept the door closed, and I said, no, you're not going to do that. And then he couldn't open the door up, and then I was like, I got out of there, and that was it. I don't mind waiting 15, 20 minutes for a grab at Suwon in my last cab from Bangsu to Chonburi. The driver watched videos on his phone mounted on the steering wheel while driving 80 kilometers an hour. Oh, yeah, well, that's really nice. I mean, they do that shit. A lot of them do it. They're watching TV while they're driving. I've only had, I think, one accident in 30 years. I've had one accident. And it was because the guy was riding somebody's ass and he rammed into the guy that was ahead of him. And he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't reading or doing anything. He was driving. That's all he was doing. He wasn't watching a show or anything. But that kind of stuff happens, and that's not okay. And that's a big thing. Is the taxis are a huge problem. And they're a problem for Chinese. I mean, that's even worse than how they are with foreigners, because foreigners kind of know that the Chinese, they don't really know exactly how to handle things. Now let me read this here. Just looking at. Yeah, long-term expats are sick of being lumped in with misbehaving tourists. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say to me, "Oh yeah, I'm sick of these kind of tourists. I live here, I live there, and I'm sick of hearing about these guys. I don't want anything to do with them." Well, that's the thing, is I don't hang out with many tourists unless the tourists know the scene. They have to know what's going on. They have to be respectful. If they're disrespectful assholes who are making problems for the Thais, then I just don't hang out with them. That's just, I don't know how to say it any other way. I just don't hang out with people like that. Why should I? You need to be a respectful guest. But you can also see the bad behavior. So what are you supposed to do? Because sometimes Thailand is just way too soft on crime, too money focused, and they don't have the boundaries. Like, if you do this, hey, this is what's going to happen. You're going to pay a fine of this much money, and you're going to go to jail for whatever it is. They don't do that very often. Only in the worst instances do people really give them a hard time. Now, can it be fixed? Good luck. Thailand needs better screening and better enforcement on visas. I mean, listen, they're going to have to figure something out. The health insurance deposits for hospital usage, whatever it might be, they're going to have to make sure that people just know, oh, well, I go there, I'm going to have to pay. Or you just, it's very simple. You have to have insurance. You want to come to Thailand? Okay, you got travel insurance. That's all there is to it. You have to have travel insurance. It's not a big deal. And, it's really not. You must have travel insurance, or you can't enter the country. Do you have proof of travel insurance? When you go to get on the plane, you have to have a little thing that says, here's my travel insurance. That's all. That makes it so easy. Oh, yes, I've got travel insurance. And it must be a certain amount. They've got to say, okay, it's going to be $100,000 or whatever it is. They got to come up with a number. So easy, really, it is pretty easy. But I don't know why. I don't know if it's intentional that they act in a certain manner towards foreigners. I don't know. I don't know really what it is, because they've got so many things they're doing. Um, of course, they got to crack down on the illegal workers and scammers, and that's not mostly Westerners or even foreigners. This is mostly Burmese, Laotians, those kind of people. Educate both tourists and Thais on expectations and boundaries. I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know how they're going to do it and actually make it stick, make people. I don't know how they're going to do that. And that's all I can say. Focus more on quality tourism, less on quantity. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't always work that way. This isn't just a bad tourist problem. It's a broken system, broken relationship, and tourists are tired of being overcharged and treated like wallets. They're treated like walking ATMs. And locals are tired of being disrespected and ignored. And people smile, but they're not necessarily happy. If Thailand wants better tourists, it needs to change what it advertises. If foreigners want to enjoy um, Thailand long term, then they need to stop acting like it's a consequence-free sandbox. So the contradiction is very real, and until both sides admit their roles in the mess, and it is a mess, then nothing's going to change. And that's why, people say, oh, do you have a lot of foreign friends? Oh, you've got to be involved with all the foreigners. No, I don't. Why? I don't. I have a few Western friends. I have a few Thai friends. I have my wife and my kids, and they are the closest. That's it. That's all I have. You know why? Because I don't want to go out and go, hey, let's go out with all these 20 guys and go have a great time. And let's go party. And I don't want to do that. You know, I don't mind going out and partying, but you got to be able to handle it properly. You're not a little kid. And that just irritates me. I think about it and I go, oh, what are you? You're like a little 5-year-old kid. I'm going to do whatever I want. Ugh. Let's see. All we'll talk about tightening up. Okay, I see a need. While I would crack down on countries first, the ones with largest numbers of transgressors. So what I would say is, do you think there's that many transgressors in Thailand? The one's past record and visits means anything. I will probably be affected by all this, though I have never caused any problems having paid for any medical work I have done, etc. It starts with less T money and actual law enforcement, definitely. Clear fines and penalties. I mean, really, if you fuck up, you got to pay the piper. That's as simple as it can be. And they're not the kind of people that, they try to make things easy. You know, running taxi service, tour guides, etc. Well, tour guides. I don't know if you know this, but tour guides, you have to have a license to be a tour guide. You cannot just become a tour guide because you think you know a lot about that place. Oh, I'm going to be a tour guide. You can't do that, right? Why would you ask me that stupid question? What is Thailand's religion? You don't know what it is? Did you convert? Ugh. Yes, but Chinese or Russians do that for their countrymen. No? Do what? You mean like make they become tour guides? Yeah, I don't know exactly how they can do that. Um, I think they have to have a Thai that is the actual tour guide, but they can have somebody else that's there that will, he's the one who's doing all the talking. That maybe the guy is giving him, okay, this is what the deal is, and then the guy listens and he tells everybody, and he's the one who rounds everybody up. He's basically like a translation company. This is the thing, though. You can't have it all. You can't do whatever you want and then go, oh, no, 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 you can't do that. You can't back out on one thing but say, oh, but you can do this. You can't do that. You have to pick. What is it that you're going to do? How far do you want to go in order for people to have a good time? People should be able to have a good time, but they shouldn't be able to do whatever they want. And no, you shouldn't be able to spit. You shouldn't be able to, spit all over the place. I understand, you spit somewhere, you spit off on the side somewhere or whatever. But, spitting all over the place, doing stupid things, you take a piss, you take a dump. I'll just take a dump right here. I mean, that's just stupid. Well, when you ding the problem is when you ding all these countries, especially countries who bring a lot of money, then what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to just turn all those people away and say, sorry, but I don't like what you're doing. And then the people are like, okay, fine, I'll go somewhere else. I'll go to Vietnam now. I don't need you. And that's what happens. You know, it's not just the Thais who are having problems with the Chinese or whatever. It's a much bigger than that. Well, you say that. Why do you want to do that? I mean, you could do it where you do 30 days and then you get, you have to pay 1,900 baht and you get another 30 days and that's 60 days. To me, that's enough. But I also think, well, you could do 60 days and then get an extension. And then you're not allowed to come back in unless you go and get a visa that is something like a retirement visa or something like that. You're not allowed to come in if you're just going to be someone who wants to be, oh, I'm going to come in here. I want to stay here for another 90 days. No, you can't do that. This was not such a big problem until they opened the floodgate, giving any country exempt country visa exempt. Well, I'll say this: there's a lot of people that are to they're allowed to stay in the country for 90 days. There's a lot of countries that allow people to come in for 90 days and they don't have any problems. But for some reason in Thailand, people have a lot of problems. And maybe it's just, in Thailand, it has to do with there's just people out there, they just want, I'm going to stay there. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to do what I want. And that's kind of what they do. They just do whatever they want. That is their, to them, that's just like, well, I'm going to do it. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. So, and if they catch me, oh, well, it's stupid stuff, You would think that people would be smart enough and you say to them, hey, listen, you get 30 days. That's it. If you need an extension, you can get another 30 days. That's it. And then after that, sorry, you want to come in, you're going to have to wait for, another 6 months or 9 months, whatever it is. Vietnam is strict on Americans, 90-day tourist visa, and you have to leave the country and renew it and it takes 3 to 4 businesses. Well, that's really, it's not that difficult. That's not that difficult. There's a lot of guys doing that. Now, the problem with Vietnam is not saying to people, okay, well, you can stay here for year after year. They're not saying that because they figure that after a while, people are not going to, they're just not going to stay here. But now they're trying to figure out a way to get people to stay and be able to do these things, but yeah, well, they know this. They know this stuff. That's the whole thing. It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, like when you look at Cambodia, you can stay for a whole year. Easy. You just pay the money. That's it. Laos, Vietnam, those are more difficult. Burma, more difficult. Even Indonesia is a little more difficult. I'm not sure about Malaysia, but I personally don't really want to stay in Malaysia. Well, I have my own thoughts on that, and my thought is that what are they doing? What are the police doing? What do they do? What's their job? When you think about it, how often do you see police driving around? They're driving around and they're trying to, I mean, what are they doing? Trying to get money. What else are they doing? Hey, how you doing, Scott? Nice to see you. Listen, I'm on the corner here. I'm glad to see you're here. Where's all your buddies? Oh, well, it's just me. Oh, okay. Okay, see you later. And then some other guy comes up. Oh, what are you guys doing? No, that doesn't happen. Not very often at all. One time I was on Aso and I was walking and I was on the side of the street. I forget the name of that building. There's a business tower or something like that. And the police guy, he just said to me, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean? I'm just going across the street. I got to go over and get this, get that." "Oh, you have your passport?" "Of course. Yeah, I got my passport." All right, showed him my passport. "Okay, no problem. Hey, let me tell you. Hey, how long you been living here?" At the time it was like 20 years. All right. And he just wanted to talk to me. He just wanted something to do. And I was like, all right, cool. See you later. He wouldn't give me a hard time. And the thing is I was like, okay, if he wants to know a little bit, I don't mind that. If he started being an asshole, then I would be like, hey, come on. But he didn't. Hey, Carlos, what's going on? What's going on? What's happening? How's uh how's everything how's everything going? We're just talking about, I mean, I think you're the same as me and, a lot of others. I don't have any problems here. I don't have to worry about, like, oh, it's the cops, man. I don't have any problems. Cops come by, you go, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Oh, what the cop? Yeah, it looks like rain's coming here. But I don't really have these kind of problems that people are talking about. But I know there are problems. But you cannot be a foreigner who just wants to be an asshole and you think you're going to get away with it. You be a smart ass. Because really, they don't have to be extremely friendly. They don't have to be. You know, Tat for a time offered travel insurance for Thailand. Not sure whatever happened to that. I bought one time when I was a tourist. Many ways to tackle the problem, as everyone should have some minimum. Badges? We don't have no stinking badges. Uh-oh, look at this. All the lights went out. Now they, oh, wow. So the lights went out in part of the mall, and fortunately my place did not go out. um, I think everybody should have insurance. And you want to go into Europe, you need to have insurance. So I don't see that it's a big thing to pay $2 or $3 a day or whatever. You come for 30 days, you got insurance, and it costs you $90. What's the big deal? Because then if something happens to you, you have insurance. You are covered. Now, I got to say, it's been 6 weeks since um, since I had my little problem on the motorcycle. And I'm still in a lot of pain from it. So you know there, Carlos, I'm still in a lot of pain from this. And I think to myself, oh, I wish I could just, tell the guy, hey, dude, you're gonna have to pay for everything because you're the one who screwed me up. You can't do that here. It ain't gonna happen. They're not gonna let you, tell some little motorcycle driver who doesn't have any money, probably doesn't even have any insurance. They're not gonna let you just say, oh, well, okay, he'll pay for everything. That's not gonna happen. Fortunately, I have insurance, but you know what? I don't really need it. If I needed the insurance, I would go ahead and I would take care of things. I've never had a problem with the police. Don't think one has ever stopped me for anything. Been coming almost since 2007. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Um, I had the one time and that was it. And nobody's going to do anything. Well, really, why do I got to have insurance? Now, if I have travel insurance for them, or I have insurance here, and a lot of insurance companies will pay for some kind of a motorcycle problem. But I don't want to have to rely on some guy. Why should I have to? He's driving, not me. The cops come up my way, come to my house all the time, mostly to get lessons on how to maintain society. I mean, if you're decent to them, most of the time they're going to be decent to you. If you start being an asshole, then they might go like, "What the hell's going?" At first they're going to go like, "What's wrong with this guy?" And what I find is that a lot of times they will try to help you, as long as you're not like escalating thing to the nth degree where you're like, they think you're going to stab them or something like that. But if you're just, you got a problem or something and you start mouthing off a little bit, they might go like, come on, like, what's your problem? And then that's it. If you're smart, oh, I better just shut up. You don't, I don't know how to say it, how to be any more blunt about it. I mean, I've been all over the country and all over many other countries. And, I cannot say that I've had any problems anywhere. We're supposed to go, finally, my wife's got to go to Chiang Mai. And then when she gets back, we're supposed to go to Suratani. And then I may go somewhere else. And then in a couple of months, there's a chance we're going to go to Greece. Now, if I'm going to go to Greece, it'd be just me and my wife that go to Greece with one of our friends. There's no way that I'm going to be like, okay, well, I don't have to have any insurance. No way. For $100, you can both have great insurance that will take care of everything. And that way, if I was to get in an accident in a car or something like that, I don't have to worry about it. You know, maybe I have to pay a little bit and that's it. But the problem is, listen, I got a lot of messages from many different people telling me about most of them were pretty negative against ties. So let me just put this up here for a second. All right, here we go. Let's see. Okay. This guy says, I blame the Thais and the Thai government. So what? All the foreigners have they have no standing. They have nothing going on to where everything is going to be the foreigners' fault, or rather the Thais' fault, and you're going to be going, oh, it's not my fault. It's all the Thais. It's the Thais. The Thais. Yeah, blame it on the Thais. That's just ridiculous. If police put the boot down and start arresting people, throwing them in prison, death penalty, massive fines like 1 million baht or more, then things will change. You get less tourists, but you will get better ones that spend more money. That's ridiculous. Okay, I understand you maybe you're going to have to pay more money. There's going to be a higher fine, but 1 million baht is just too much money. You wouldn't get 1 million baht fine in the United States or in Australia or wherever it is. You know, maybe you're going to get a $2,500 fine, something like that. The Thais aren't fed up. They love tourists. Okay. I guess if you think so. Soon, Cambodia and Vietnam will be a mess like Thailand has already become. Now, that may be true. It may be a few years. And like I said, the busier things get, the more people that come to a particular country, well, then the less friendly they may become. You're going to have to understand. You're going to have to do this and this and this. And before, you didn't have to do that. Same thing, even in Portugal, even everywhere. That's what happens. This guy says here, try living in places like Australia and New Zealand. The living costs are horrific. Okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with here. Mexico is doing the same thing. Goodbye, gringos. You think that you can just move anywhere and open your mouth and say that you're Americano and the locals are going to kneel. I don't feel that way. Back in your country, you are racist as it can be and xenophobic. Oh, Jesus Christ. Worst behavior I've ever experienced in Thailand. It amazes me how they go on. Don't even start me. I knew a girl, half British, half Thai. Every boyfriend she ever had beat her. Well, that's another issue. That you know. Indians don't take showers. Okay. Okay. Some tourists behave badly, but on the other side, Thai government is not very accommodating, not a very accommodating host. If the Thai government really wants tourism or people immigrating to live, they need to keep the people out. They want to be there. Maybe money or net worth requirements. But then on the backside, the people they let in need to be treated better with easy visa options. That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. Seriously. More money and net worth requirements. That's it. That's going to do it. If Thais don't like tourists behaving badly, they should point the finger where the blame lies, the Thai government. Things were fine a few years before COVID. By 2018, the government decided to start making Western expats less welcome in exchange for Chinese tourists. Then COVID happened and Chinese haven't filled the gap. So the government made pot legal, which attracted a lot of scum. That's just bullshit. You smoke pot, so that means you're a scum. No, it doesn't. Next, they created the digital nomad visa, which is bringing in more scum. Oh my God. What the hell is with this guy? It has nothing to do with, it must have nothing to do with U.S. Navy anchoring in Pattaya Bay on a regular basis. Absolutely everything in the sex industry doubles and triples in price those days. You know, all I can say is that most of these people that are commenting are a bunch of dumb fucks. I mean, I'll just say that straight out. I don't care. I mean, if that's how you feel, you're an idiot. You're not thinking. Well, all the scum are coming in because they smoke weed. That doesn't mean you're a scummy person. I live out in the burbs, so I don't see the grockles much unless I go to town for some reason. I have noticed there is a tendency among foreign YouTubers in Thailand to moan like hell all the time and not show any interest in the country or its people. A few months ago, I was in Yawarat Road and a shopkeeper told me I was a farang who was clean, as if I were someone special and someone unusual. I would say to people visiting the country, if you want to be treated with respect, then earn it. Sweaty blokes wearing singlets with hairy, sweaty armpits who don't take showers is enough to make anyone lose their lunch. If you're staying in a hotel or hostel, they don't charge you per shower, so you can take more than one a day. I live in a house on a housing estate on the edge of town, and I take 3 to 4 5-minute showers a day. My wife spends a lot longer under the shower. Our water bill is less than 10 Great British pounds per month. Please keep those armpits stowed away and take showers. That's true. Jesus Christ. Again, plenty of well-off people can be assholes like David. I don't know who David is. Probably they voted for Trump. I don't want to get into this politics about, it's Trump. Oh, wait a minute. It's Trump. And what are you going to say about Biden or Kamala, the dumbass Harris? What are you going to say about that? I mean, really, just face facts. Politics generally, you just stay out of it, man. And for me, I'm someone who lives in Thailand. And the only reason I bring up how long I've been here is because I've seen a few things. It doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. It doesn't mean I'm smarter than anybody. But I've been here long enough to see a lot of different things. And like I said, it's almost half of my life I've been here. When I hit 64, I'm almost 63. When I hit 64, I'll have lived here half my life. That's the only reason I bring it up. Because if you're someone who's been here for 6 months or a year, you don't know shit. You're still learning. No offense. But you need to let everything assimilate. You need to it's pouring rain out right now. You need to get your head together. Swiss guy, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, they need to get their act together. They're not fed up with our money. Just drop a ton of cash and leave. Now, this one says, when you treat your own country, now this is, I'll admit this is kind of true. When you treat your own country like a lawless place where the locals can be late, sketchy, rude, pushy, sexually forward in public, drunk, pissing on the side of the road, and basically selling things that aren't allowed to be sold by law. You get people who see your behavior as an open door or similar for worse behavior. You get what you accept. Just because there are a minority of angry, quiet people losing their shit about it, it doesn't change what the game is. You get the respect that you place on yourself. If you accept that your own people are ruining your country, then you can't be angry at an outsider and expect change from their end first. Listen, it's not only, I can tell you right now, it's not only the Thais, period. Oh, yeah, the rain is heavy duty now. Just adopt and live by golden rule. Do unto others. Yeah, it's that simple. Be respectful. Be respectful. That's all you got to do. It's very simple. Now, this guy's blaming everything on he's blaming everything on the Thais, and that's just not true. I mean, there's a lot of people that come here. They have absolutely no respect, no regard for the culture. They don't care. I don't care about that. And you got the people, all they do is live at Nana Plaza, which, hey, if you want to go there, that's fine. I don't have any problem with it. But then if you only go there, and that's what you think Thailand is, that's all that Thailand is, then you need to go some other places. This is clickbait stuff, Scott. 40 million tourists a year. Well, not yet. It's going to be about 32 million. Some are pigs, so what? No, that's not how I look at it. I'm here in Pattaya and walk around with open hands and a big smile. Well, so do I. What does that matter? I'm treated wonderfully, and so am I. Indians, Chinese, and Russians are arseholes in Thailand. They are at home too. Listen, I have no idea how that relates to me because I don't have any problems with people. And, that's the bottom line. I see all kinds of people coming in, doing their thing, and it doesn't bother me in the least. And people are responsible for themselves. I'm not going to rat on people. I'm not going to do those kind of things because it's not for me to do. They have a phrase, CAU, translates into ruin, stay, and they're not talking about them. Why have these two words? Is there another country that uses said phrase? Yeah, there is. As a working expat in Thailand, I would not consider this the land of smiles. That's a myth. Well, I would say now is not as much of a land of smiles as it used to be. However, I mean, there's a lot of people here that they just smile and all they want. They don't want any hassles either. I'm talking about Thais. They don't want any hassles. The quality of tourists have deteriorated very quickly. I don't want to call a kettle black, but the Thais have many scams that rip tourists off. I had two nieces that came over to visit and had a very traumatic experience with a taxi driver. He agreed to 500 baht fee to deliver the girls to my residence, and on arrival demanded 2,000 baht and locked the doors until they paid. Oh, well, there are ways to get around that, but I guess maybe you're not smart enough to figure it out. Because somebody does that to you, you say, if you don't let me out, I'm going to call the police. And if the police don't do anything, I'll call somebody else. That's kind of what you got to do. You got to know when you can stand up for yourself. And if somebody locks you in a car, that's uncalled for. You don't let somebody lock you in. That's when you start beating their ass. As a Farang, I am also feed up with tourists. Avoid the tourist hotspot too much. Bad behavior from tourists and some locals as well. The Thai have Farang fatigue. That's true. This behavior is normal in Western shit society. Thailand gonna come down hard on all this. Eventually, they may. You can't deport someone because they picked their nose in a restaurant. or chew with mouth open, or flop on a nice hotel couch, shirtless and sweaty. Well, I don't know where you get the pick their nose thing. Picking their nose, Thais pick their nose all the time. Foreigners, in my opinion, don't pick their nose nearly as much. I try, if I'm going to pick, I try not to pick in public. I mean, that's just disgusting. Go in the bathroom, get a tissue. You know, that's absolutely disgusting. Chew with mouth open. Well, that's just bad. That's bad manners, really. If you're unhappy in Thailand, leave and don't come back. If you don't like the food, don't eat it. Yeah, exactly. If you feel that Thailand is so bad and the people are so bad to you, and oh my God, all these other places are far better, well, then go. Bail. See you later. Bye-bye. See you later. Why is it, please tell me, why is it that I go damn near everywhere? Now, I've been out with Carlos. We went to the market, and we had seafood, and he's been to the market several times. I think it's not Kahlua. He's had seafood and eaten food, and nobody ever gives us a hard time. And it's not, I mean, listen, I dare say that we would probably, hold our own against a few people, but it's not like we have to be like that. And it's not like I don't think we're even thinking like that. We're just thinking we want to have a good time. So here I am. I don't have any problems. I don't think Carlos has any problems. He's got his own problems in life. I got my own problems in life. And it has nothing to do with I live in Thailand and these people are so bad to me. Oh, my God. One left a nice resto because he's full of Indians, and that was his response. Okay. The shirtless, sweaty guys on the couch was another guy who is a generally respected YouTuber. Hell, I went in there and they let me cook. Exactly. That's what I mean. Now, Bayou Tom, I don't know who it was that was the YouTuber who does that. I will say this. I'm not going to take my shirt off in a place. Hey, look at me. Look at my hairy chest. Oh, I'm sweaty. I'm not going to go, oh, look at my muscles. And if I was 30 years younger, I wouldn't do that. Even if I did. Even back then when I had a really good body, I wouldn't have taken my shirt. Look at me. Yes. Oh, you all have to listen. Look at this. This is perfection, baby. Come on. Absolutely. Not a YouTuber that does that. Yes. Okay. One who saw it. Oh, I got it. Group of shirtless Indian guys just coming off the beach. Well, I hate to rag on all the Indian guys, but there is such a thing as manners and common decency. And if you guys remember, when I went up to whatever the hell the name that little place was, where I took the boat up the Mekong, and I was on the train, and that little French guy with his dreadlocks, and he didn't have a shirt on, he didn't have any shoes, no shoes. And he's sitting there with his stench coming over. He's sitting across over there, and he's stinking. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy is foul, man. And I wanted to go over and just crack him because he was really funky, man. I mean, not funky like, oh, he kind of smells a little. No, he was terrible. And he puts his feet up on the chair. And then this Thai girl is sitting there, and she's like, she's grossed out by the guy. I just think to myself, the thing is that it's very easy to, if you really want to run over and knee somebody in the face or punch them or whatever. Okay, I understand you could do that. But let's face it, most of the time you can't do that. That's not how you handle matters. And if the guy wants to stink, well, then he stinks, and you got to get away from him as quickly as possible. And hopefully, you're not going to be in that situation again. I mean, I've been around stinky, sweaty guys before. You know, I was in a boxing gym for a long time. And I'll tell you what, most of the people in there, they didn't stink. They smelled good. Every once in a while, you got some foreigners that went in there and they were a little funky. And it was the foreigners. It wasn't the Thais. The Thais were clean. There's a lot of good and bad everywhere you go. It is up to the individual as to what the will and will not accept. Yeah, definitely. I mean, really, I stay away from the bad and either stay alone or I go towards the good. I have a few good Thai friends and I go out with them maybe once a month, something like that. I hang out with them, hang out with my wife, and we have a great time. And then sometimes I go out with my buddies. You couldn't stay away from the stinky French guy. Oh, he was terrible. That guy was horrible, man. He was really bad. And, you know, part of me wants to go, brother, you are funky. I just wanted to say that to him. You are funky, dude. You know, you're too funky. You're the kind that will drive people away from you, you know? Anyway, unbelievable. You know, when you think about it, it is pretty unbelievable. Um, there's always going to be stereotypes. But when enough locals say, oh, this is how they are, well, then obviously the stereotype is a little more realistic. And people don't want to admit it, but it's true. I mean, I've seen the women and they've said, "Oh, I really don't like this guy," and then I've seen women they go, "Oh, well, I like those guys." It's a difference between sweaty and funky. Listen, I'll tell you something. I have gotten sweaty before, especially when I work out. When I'm done, man, I am drenched, but I don't stink. Maybe it's because I take a couple of showers every day. I don't mind doing that. It's just, you know, sometimes you take a little 5-minute shower. That's all it takes. And you clean up. I mean, that's the last thing you want to have to, the last thing you want to have to worry about is being foul and funky. Oh, God, man. I don't care if they're French or American or who they are. You don't want to be, and I told my kids this early on, you don't want to be the stinky kid. You don't want it to be the one where the girls go, ooh, he stinks. That's not you. And then, you know, that's how I got him into being clean. I'm like, you don't want to be the funky one where you go around somebody and they're like, ugh. They put on a nasty face and they don't want to be around you. You know, I don't have to talk to them about that. Anyway, so, I mean, listen, the bottom line is I think it's both parties who are at fault. I think the Thais need to get their shit together. They need to grow up. That's kind of what they need to do. They need to grow up. Now, let me see something here. Where is it? Yeah, the real answer is that the Thais need to grow up about tourism, and so do the tourists. They have to realize they can't just come here and do whatever they want. You can't just do that. Oh, I think I'll stick my finger up my ass, and then I'll have a drink, and my hands need to be washed. But what does it matter? It only smells like shit. Thailand built a system that attracts mass tourism with minimal boundaries, cheap, chaotic, and overly permissive. Then they get upset when people take advantage of the system. And on the flip side, many tourists arrive, they think that Thailand is some consequence free playground, and it is not. So, really, China needs to prioritize quality over quantity. However, they also need to make sure that it is a place of quality. They're not just letting everybody get away with whatever they want. Fewer tourists, better behavior, enforce the laws consistently, not selectively. I don't know what it is with, what do they do all day? What do the police do all day? I mean, I don't even see many cars charged a comment. I don't know what that means. Um, I mean, really, I look and I think, how many police cars are there where there are police everywhere? I almost never see that. They're on foot, they're on motorcycles sometimes, whatever. Um, so I think that the deal is that, you see on YouTube, you see a lot of YouTubers who are preaching about, well, it's so great in Thailand, it's so fantastic. Well, it's not only foreigners doing this, it's also the Thais, and you need to stop selling the fantasy without warning about the rules. And for tourists, you need to act like a guest. You are a guest, not a conqueror. You need to learn the basics. They just have to be the basics, a few things of Thai culture. And it's not really that hard. You don't need to be cheap, drunk, arrogant. And remember that nobody owes you anything here. Nobody. Raymond, how you doing? Like sitting on an Indian airplane next to the restroom on a long. The Thais need to grow a pair and control the bad behavior. Yeah. Well, I mean, they're very, very tolerant, but they need to be more. They need to be more progressive, and they need to think of some concrete ways to punish people. If you get charged a comment, you would owe Scott a fortune. Charge the. He's playing around with you. Charge the comment. My bad. I can type. Give us your wisdom. Give us your wisdom, Raymond. Oh God. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, I look at some of these comments and I just go, oh God. This guy says, oh, I'm not seeing it, that they're tired. Many articles written about the concerns of losing tourists to other countries and what to do about it. Bars are filled with workers waiting for Falan. Other buses, such as hotels and tourists, depend on tourism. It's just a popular topic. No, it's not that it's just popular. It's true. That's the thing. It's popular and it's true. Spain overcrowded with tourists. Greece thinking about limits. Blah blah blah. You can't bite the hand that feeds you. Okay, whatever, dude. You go live wherever you want. Chinese are the worst from what I've seen in the past 25 years. If Thais weren't ripping off tourists all the time, they might just earn some respect from some tourists. And if Farang weren't trying to get everything they can for less or for nothing, then maybe the Thais would give them some respect. Respect is earned, but Scott and the average Thai doesn't seem to understand this. Yeah, I don't seem to understand it. I'm one of these guys who I don't understand what respect for Thais is. Jesus Christ. Many countries are worse than Thais. Thank you. Unbelievable. All right, let me look at this here. Let me close this down here. This just cracks me up, man. Part of it is Thailand is overdeveloped. They've gone past more places to go, but not enough coming to go there. Yeah. Well, like I've said, oh shit. Like I've said, if you're going to go somewhere in Thailand now, most of the time, people have already been there. And what I like to do, and I've always done this, well, almost always I've done this, as far as I can remember, is I like to go places and there's not many tourists there. I mean, I went to Kosaboya, Siboya, Saboya. No tourists there. I had a bungalow with the wife. We're out in the front patio at 9 o'clock at night doing our thing, and there was nobody there on the island. We were just alone. It was great. I mean, I've been to lots of places like that. So you have to really look. And now, man, it's really hard to find places that are not overrun with tourists. You know, it's like I went to Krabi when Krabi was when the COVID was going on, and there were almost there was almost nobody there in Krabi on Riley and those places around there. That was great. It was fantastic. Go to Bunkan. How many people are in Bunkan? They're mostly Thais. Go to Nakhon Phanom. Go to some of the other places. Go to Chumpon. Most people don't stop in Chumpon. They go somewhere else. There's a lot of places that you can go, but you got to be willing to go there. I took Vietnam north to south too, but I didn't ride it. I went in the train. Okay, and I went across into Cambodia also. Um, yeah, I didn't go on a bicycle for sure. Anyway, oh my God, whew, kind of getting cold in here now. It's raining like hell out there. Anyway, I think that's about all I got right now. I got to take a wicked piss. Sorry to say, but I do. Drank too much. So that's all I have. Sorry to say. I got to go. I will see you all next time. Take care of yourself, and I will talk to you later. I got to pee, or I'm going to pee myself. I got to go right now. I'll talk to you all later. Take it easy.